Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the second session of the Knox County Schools Career Expo. As a first-time high school student next year, you're going to have lots of options for courses that you've never had before. Some of those classes will fall under the category of Career and Technical Education, or CTE. CTE classes are a unique opportunity to engage in hands-on learning so you can begin to learn some technical skills and often begin earning certifications and credentials that could be valuable to you after graduation. One of the most unique aspects of CTE classes, in my opinion, is that many of the teachers you will work with have worked as professionals in the fields you'll be learning about. And quite often, CTE teachers are in their second career and have chosen to become teachers after having careers in other areas. Today, we're going to have a chance to meet one of those teachers, Taylor Case, and joining her will be one of her students, Andy Galloway, to tell us a little bit about CTE programming at Farragut High School. Hello, Taylor. How are you this morning?
Hey, good. How are you?
Doing well. We're not going to take a lot of time before this. We're just going to get right into it. So if you don't care, will you tell us a little bit about yourself, what your career was before you became a teacher, and why you decided to get into education?
Okay, so my name's Taylor, and I'm the new agriculture teacher at Farragut High School. Some of my favorite things are playing with my Goldens. One of them's running around in here right now. I love exploring national parks, horseback riding, bass fishing, anything that has to do with the outdoors. So before I was a teacher, I actually worked as a vet tech. So I got an internship right after high school with the University of Tennessee. It's called the Veterinarian Summer Experience Program. And in this program, we worked at a local vet clinic and then went to UT for a week and did rounds with fourth-year vet students. So essentially, we got to see what a week in the life of a vet student was like. It was a really awesome experience. And after the internship, I continued working at the vet clinic. And so now I've been a vet tech for about 7 years part-time, all throughout college. Because of this internship, I decided to major in animal science in college, and so I spent the majority of my time on the ag campus. I decided to go on a different path instead of going to vet school. I chose to go into education because I wanted to share the love that I have for agriculture, the environment, and plants and animals with my students. And I wanted to take my experiences from high school and college and working in the industry and share those with my students and help them be better prepared for their futures. One of the things that I love most about being a teacher is getting to meet all these students from different backgrounds, getting to know them, and then watching them grow and learn about plants and animals and about each other.
Thanks a lot, Taylor. So the next question I have is for you to tell us a little bit more about the specific classes that you teach and what kind of things students might expect to learn in your classes.
Okay, so we are teaching the animal science pathway here at Farragut High School. The first course is agri-science. The second course is small animal science. The third course is large animal science. And then our final course is veterinary science. And actually, to show you some of the things that they learn in those courses, we created a video. My students and I worked with the graphic design class here and made a video for you guys to watch. And on a side note, if any of you are interested in graphic design, that is an awesome CTE program that you should definitely get involved in.
Awesome. I think we're going to watch that video now.
At Farragut High School, our agricultural program is currently concentrating on the animal science pathway. A student enrolled in this program of study would take 4 courses throughout their high school experience. The first course is agri-science. This course helps students understand the important role that agricultural science and technology plays in the 21st century. We focus on a variety of topics such as the environment, plants, and animals. The second and third courses, small animal science and large animal science, dive deeper into understanding the fundamental care and health of different species, such as dogs, cats, rabbits, guinea pigs, and even fish in small animal science. While in large animal science, we focus on the fundamentals of livestock animals, like horses, cattle, goats, pigs, and chickens. The fourth course, veterinary science, covers principles of health and disease, basic animal care and nursing, clinical and laboratory procedures, anatomy and physiology, nutrition, and much more. Agriculture class isn't just for farmers. It's for students interested in learning more about becoming a veterinarian, vet tech, vet assistant, or pursuing a variety of scientific, health, or agriculture professions in a fun, hands-on environment that equips students with essential skills that will help them be successful in the future, no matter where it takes them. I hope you enjoy this peek into the lives of our students.
All right, thank you for that video, Taylor. It really did a great job of showcasing some of the fun things that kids do in your class. Are there any other projects in there that you'd like to talk about, some with the greenhouse or with any of the animals and fish and different things they work with in your class?
Yeah, sure. So as you saw in that video, we do lots of hands-on learning projects and interactive things. Students are responsible for growing plants and taking care of them in the greenhouse, in our aquaponics system, and our hydroponics system. They also are responsible for taking care of our class pets. So you saw in the video, we've got bunnies. They they helped build the cage, redesign it after there were problems with it. They take turns cleaning the cages, holding the rabbits. They rotate duties cleaning the fish tank, and they really love watching them grow and seeing them swim around in there. And then they take turns walking and brushing Hartley, our class therapy dog. Come here. This is her. So everybody really loves her. We also sometimes have doggy daycare days. So you saw a picture in there of one of our students with Dr. Bartlett's puppy. So some of our teachers will bring in puppies, and our students get to look at the behavioral aspects of dogs and how they interact with other dogs and socialization. We work on training them and obviously lots of playing. We also work hand in hand with the construction program. So they helped us put together the hydroponics table you saw in the video. We worked with them to put that koi pond in the indoor flower bed. And so once that's up and running, that will be the responsibility of the small animal science students to take care of those koi fish, feed them, clean their pond, all of that fun stuff. We're also working with them to design and build chicken coops. And so once those are up and going, large animals science students will actually hatch eggs in our egg incubator, and we'll raise up these chicks to become a laying flock of hens, and they will collect the eggs, and we will have all kinds of fun with those, cleaning those enclosures, caring for those chickens. We also hope to incorporate other animals in and throughout our course of study, like goats, cows, horses, for students to interact with and learn from. And then we incorporate lots of FFA topics, because that is our agricultural organization. That stands for Future Farmers of America. And so we do lots of competitions with that, and we get ready to travel, meet lots of people from all over the state and the country. And we have lots of industry leaders that we network with, which leads to internship and job opportunities. Some of the career leadership events that students participate in are floriculture, where they identify flowers, public speaking, meats evaluation, livestock evaluation, horse evaluation, and even vet science competitions. So that's some of the fun stuff that we get to do.
Thank you, Taylor. I'm really glad you mentioned FFA as one of our career and technical student organizations. Each of our CTE programs are affiliated with a career and technical student organization, which really is a club, if you want to look at it that way, that allows the students to really extend what they're doing in class, and go out and compete as a team, and really compete for prizes and scholarships and all sorts of great things that they can be involved in. So I appreciate you mentioning that. Now, you've introduced us to Hartley, and I know that from looking at the video, and she's been popping around there as we've been talking, she is a very important part of your classroom, and probably a piece that kids really enjoy. So she is a habit dog, if I'm correct. Would you tell us a little more about what habit stands for and how that impacts your students in your classroom?
Yes, absolutely. So HABIT stands for Human Animal Bond in Tennessee, and they are a University of Tennessee affiliated program. They provide medical and behavior screening for animals so that they can become certified therapy dogs. So she has been screened by them, and she meets the qualifications to be a therapy dog. So she comes to class most days. So she is here to provide stress relief for kids, and also we use her as a prop in class lots of times for grooming, how to restrain, how to hold for blood draws and stuff like that. But I think overall students are just a lot more focused, they're happier to be here, and like I said, she's just a joy to everyone that she's around.
I've had the chance to meet her, and she is a joy to be around. I can attest to that. I'm going to shift the gears a little bit here, and just as we're thinking about CTE programs, and I mentioned before, one of the elements that exist in CTE is the ability to earn an industry credential. Can you tell us a little bit about how that looks in your class?
Yeah, absolutely. So in agri-science, students can actually earn an OSHA 10 certification. So this is all about safety and prevention of accidents in the agricultural workplace. And then in vet science, they have the ability to earn the Tennessee animal science industry certification. So this is where they apply their knowledge of the care and management of companion animals, so small animal species, and then livestock, so large animal species. And getting these industry credentials is time consuming, and it takes hard work, but is absolutely attainable, and it's something that you can definitely be proud of. These industry credentials, they allow you to get positions that maybe you wouldn't have been eligible for without the credential. You could possibly even get higher pay. My students are super excited when they pass this and get those certifications, and then they also get to wear a really cool cord to graduation to show off their achievements.
Great. Thank you, Taylor. So you mentioned in your video that agriculture is not just for people who want to be farmers. So when we think about agriculture and all of the different industries that it touches, if a student was interested in that, what kind of career might they pursue after graduation? And then what type of training or education would they need to do that?
So I think the number one career that most of my students are interested in is obviously veterinarian medicine. So this is going to take a 4-year bachelor's degree in animal science or relating field that's super heavily weighted in science classes. And then it's going to take a 4-year doctorate degree at an accredited university such as the University of Tennessee. Another example would be a veterinarian technician. So this is going to be technical training at a technical school or even an online program. There are 2-year associate options or 4-year bachelor options for that. And then there are all kinds of local clinics that are going to hire for either one of those positions. They're always looking for good and qualified employees, such as the University of Tennessee's College of Veterinary Medicine, Concord Vet, Village Vet, Animal Emergency and Specialty Center of Knoxville. An animal conservationist is something else that some of my kids that are interested in. That's going to take a bachelor in wildlife conservation or in wildlife and fisheries management. They could then work for TWRA, the Forest Service, the Tennessee Department of Agriculture. Also, with that wildlife conservationist degree, you could be a zoologist. Many times zoologists specialize even further and get a master's or doctorate degree in that, but then you could work at Zoo Knoxville or the Tennessee Aquarium with that. And then some of my students are also interested in the horticulture side of agriculture. So since we do lots of work in the greenhouse, a greenhouse manager would be an example of that. And so we're looking at an associate's or bachelor's in horticulture for that position. And then you could work at common places like Lowe's or Home Depot or even Pope's or SiteOne. Or even a florist. So really that doesn't take any secondary education, but an associate's degree in business management, floral design, or plant landscaping would definitely help. And then you could work at any place that has a floral department like Kroger's, Food City, Publix, or at a bigger floral company like Lisa Foster Floral Design.
Great. It sounds like there's lots of opportunity and lots of different ways that you might take that interest in agriculture if you were looking at it as a career down the line. So why would you suggest that a student take your class?
So I would suggest students who love animals and love plants and want to be in a hands-on learning environment join our class.
So really just having an interest and a passion for those things, this is a place they can come and explore that a little bit more. That's great advice. So last question for you, and then we're going to make a shift and hear from one of your students. What's one thing you would want students to know about just career and technical education classes? You mentioned several of the programs there at Farragut, how you've worked with both the construction program and how you've worked with your digital arts and design teacher as well. So when you think about CTE as a whole, why should students be interested in that?
So CTE classes can open up the door for you to so many different things that you may have never experienced before. You could find a new passion, a new hobby, maybe even a career in those. And it typically, you will find your niche somewhere. CTE offers something for everyone. I have so many students that didn't exactly choose to take my class, but ended up in it, and they loved it. And they have continued taking the next level courses because they found a place that they love.
That's great, Taylor. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We're going to hear now from one of your students, Andy Galloway, who is one of the vet science students at Farragut High School. Andy, thank you for joining us this morning. Will you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
So I am Andrea Galloway, or Andy. I am a 9th grader at Farragut High School. I really enjoy reading and crocheting. I like my family owns a farm, so I really like going down there and helping with the chickens and the cows and helping in the garden and stuff like that.
Great. Is that how you got interested in taking the animal science class?
Yes, it is actually. My mom got an email from the counselor saying that there was some new courses, and she mentioned this one, and I thought that it might help with me helping on the farm all the time. You know, I might learn some things that would be useful.
So tell me some of the things you've learned in this class that you're already able to apply on your family's farm.
So we have talked about like plant propagation, like how to grow plants from a seed, or how to grow plants from other plants, like taking clippings or using the eyes of a potato to grow new potatoes. We have talked about the anatomy and physiology of different plants and animals. So that has actually really helped me to better understand like what the chickens need as far as like food and other things like that. So yeah.
Great. Do you have any projects in this class that you would say have been some of your favorites, some of the activities you've done in the class?
The plant propagation lab was one of my favorites. We learned, again, how to grow plants from seeds, and we worked a lot in the greenhouse. I really enjoyed doing a lot of that stuff. And one of the newer projects that we worked on in the small animal science course was dog breeds, where we did a slideshow presentation on different dog breeds. We all chose one and worked on like the different trainings they need, how much exercise they need, how much food they need, if like different diseases that they could get that you can try to prevent and different stuff like that.
Okay. So tell me, why do you prefer hands-on learning? It sounds like a lot of these labs that you've been doing, growing seeds and dealing with the different animals and things. I can see you sitting there and holding a rabbit right now. So what is it about hands-on learning do you enjoy, and how are you getting to do that in your vet science class and in your agriculture class?
I really, really like hands-on learning because I feel like as a student, we pay more attention and are more apt to want to do things if we are being pushed to do something physical. Like if I'm sitting in a chair, like, and all I'm doing is taking notes, that's really, really boring, and nobody really wants to do that. But if you're like going and playing with the rabbits, or we're doing something with Hartley, it makes it more fun and more enjoyable for us, and it makes us more want to be a part of the class instead of just sit there and pretend like we're doing something.
Great. What are you most excited about that's coming up in some of the future classes? You're a freshman, so you've only had a couple at this point, but there's a few more that you can participate in. So are you looking forward to anything specific in the future classes?
I'm really, really looking forward to talking more about livestock and poultry in our large animal science class, just because I live on a farm, so I really enjoy learning more about something that I'm a part of. I am also really excited for the veterinarian science class because I do want to become a teacher, but I've also thought about becoming a vet, and I think that might be really, really useful for me if I do decide to become a vet. And even if I do become a teacher, it would really help me to teach that so that other students who want to become vets can through my teaching.
Great. It sounds like you've got a lot of bright plans in your future. I was going to ask you kind of how you thought you might use this experience in this CTE class in the future, but I think you've kind of answered that between both your family farm and thinking about maybe professionally what you want to do down the road. So I'm going to ask you a final question, and I want to say to our audience, if you're tuning in right now, once after this question, we're going to have the opportunity to take some questions from those of you that are tuning in with us today. So if you've already got some questions you think you want to submit, go ahead and start doing that now, and we'll try to get to a few of those. But we're going to wrap up with Andy, and the final question I would ask you, Andy, is if you were giving one piece of advice to these 8th grade students, and it's not been that long ago since you were there, but if you were going to give them one piece of advice about, moving into high school next year, what would it be?
One of the major pieces of advice that I would give is to utilize your counselor. When I was going into high school, I didn't talk to my counselor at all. Like, I didn't email her. I didn't try to reach out to her, just because I didn't really think that she would want to help me or have the time to help me because she was doing all the scheduling stuff. But she really is, or he is really there to help you and to help you figure out what to do as far as going into high school. I really wish that I had done that I'd reached out to her, because I struggled a lot going into high school, not really knowing what to do or what to expect. So if you have any questions, please reach out to your counselors, because they really do want to help you learn and understand your classes or what to do as far as going into high school and in the future.
I think that's a great piece of advice and very true. There's a lot of different options when you move into high school that maybe you haven't had before. And so your counselors can be a great resource, and they are there to help you and support you in making the best decisions for you when you think about those classes and different activities you want to be a part of in high school. So I'm going to take a few questions from the audience. The first one that was asked, and Taylor, I'm going to put this one back to you, Ms. Case. And I believe you addressed this, but one student did ask, how long do you have to go to college if you want to be a vet?
So that's going to end up being 8 years total. So 4 years for your bachelor's in animal science or a science field, and then 4 years for your doctorate.
All right, other questions from the audience? Andy, are you participating at all with FFA?
Yes, I am.
What sorts of activities are you doing with FFA?
So right now we've been doing a lot of stuff in the greenhouse as far as like growing different plants to make hanging baskets, because right now we're trying to save up money to go on a trip to Ireland to do an agricultural tour in Ireland. So that's what we've been doing recently.
Are you looking forward to the trip to Ireland?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm super excited.
We are. As unfortunately this year, lots of our competitions are virtual, so that kind of puts a damper on how fun they are and how active we can be in them. But lots of our topics that we cover in class are things that we can compete in FFA. For example, the dog breeds thing that she was talking about, where everyone chose a different dog breed. One of the parts of the veterinarian science CDE is to identify all different types of breeds of animals. So that's where that came from.
Taylor, Mr. Coatney has asked me to ask you about the upcoming case training and curriculum that you're going to be participating with, and how that might accent what you're doing with your students in class.
Yes, so I am going to be case certified this summer, and so this is a really incredible curriculum that is going to offer lots of labs and hands-on activities. So even though we already do lots of that stuff, it's going to make it even better and even more geared towards the standards and stuff that we cover in agroscience.
Awesome. I have another question from a student who wants to know, how could these courses, thinking about both the animal science courses and the agri-science, how could those courses help them be successful maybe in some of their other classes?
So I try really hard to incorporate presentation type stuff and public speaking stuff, because the environment in my class is very relaxed and low stakes. And so the more that they get comfortable with doing stuff like that in here, the better they do it in other classes. We also do a lot of industry type getting ready, how to write an email, how to do a resume, how to get ready for stuff like that. And it's really heavily related to science. And so lots of the standards that we cover, you're also going to see in biology. So you're going to be more ready for that class. If you take any of the environmental science classes, we cover some of those standards too. And so it's going to help you get further along in those classes.
Well, that sounds good. If there's not any final thoughts, I think we're going to wrap this session up today. I'd like to say a big thank you to Taylor Case, agriculture teacher at Farragut High School, and her student, Andy Galloway, for joining us and telling us more about this program and really helping us to learn more about CTE as a whole. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next session.